If you've recently heard someone telling you maladaptive daydreaming is your brain's superpower that prepares you for the future, please stop believing that crap. That's the same kind of toxic positivity that tells a porn addict they're just training for sex marathon. Your brain isn't preparing you for anything. It's replacing real life. Because real preparation pushes you toward action. It makes you do things, but maladaptive daydreaming? It does the opposite. Instead of preparing for the real world, it builds a different one inside your head. So you become the director, the actor, and the only audience of a movie that nobody is ever going to watch. I know in that world everything is perfect, and everything goes your way, because you control every second of it. You have the body you want, the confidence you wish you had, even those friends you dream of finally understanding you. Because the world outside doesn't see that person you wish they would see. And while you are inside your inner world, I know it can feel incredibly real and safe, but the moment you step out of it, reality hits you like a brick. Suddenly you're back in a room that feels too quiet, or a life that feels too small. And that's exactly when your shame of being a weirdo kicks in. Because there is no worse feeling than your mother walking in while you're whispering a dialogue or waving your hands in the air. That split-second freeze where your heart stops because you've been caught red-handed, living a double life. That fake stretch where you pretend you were just yawning. Because how do you explain that you were talking to a wall? Or maybe it happens outside. You are standing at a bus stop, replying to an argument you had yesterday with your co-worker, the one who criticised you, while you just stood there because you didn't say a word. Then suddenly you realise your lips are moving. And in that moment you start wondering, did anyone see that? So you quickly scratch your nose, fix your hair, look at your phone, anything to hide the fact that you were just arguing with someone who isn't even there, because the last thing you want is for people to think you're crazy. If you feel like a freak for doing this, please stop for a moment. You're not the only one experiencing it. In fact, you would probably be surprised how many people are doing the exact same thing right now, creating conversations, scenes, and entire worlds inside their head. You're all walking past each other, deeply lost in worlds that nobody else can see. It's the only place where you aren't being judged. The only place where people finally stop and actually listen to what you have to say. In your head, you don't have to scream just to be heard. So it's not your fault that your brain built this safe world inside your head when you tried so hard to survive. But that safe place can slowly become your prison. Because while you were safe inside that world, the real one never stopped moving. Time didn't wait for you to finish your daydream. And that's the real pain of maladaptive daydreaming that no one wants to talk about. Maybe it's the career you never started because you were already a CEO in your imagination. Or maybe it's the friendships that slowly faded away because real people started to feel boring compared to the ones you created in your imagination. You've been so busy living 1,000 lives that you've forgotten how to live your real one. And the hardest part, this often happens to the most creative people. You have this amazing, vivid imagination that was meant to be a gift. It was supposed to become art, music, or a real business. But instead of putting it out into the world, you turned it inward. You don't write the book because, in your head, it's already a masterpiece. You've already felt the reward of success without ever doing the work, so the real work actually feels heavy. And the longer you stay in that dream, the harder it becomes to leave. But your brain didn't start doing this for no reason. It started as a way to survive. Maybe the silence in your home was just too loud. Maybe you grew up feeling like you were there physically, but nobody actually saw you. When the world didn't give you what you needed, and nobody told you your feelings mattered, your mind quietly built a place where you finally did. You created a world where someone finally hears you because you removed everything that ever hurt you. In that world, you aren't the weirdo that nobody understands. You don't have the body people shamed you for. You created a world where those problems simply don't exist. But now, that sanctuary is the very thing, keeping you from solving those problems in real life. When the real world becomes too much, the stress at school, the screaming at home, or the social anxiety that freezes your chest, you don't look for a solution. You don't try to change things, you just run inside your brain because it's the only place where you have 100% control over a world that feels uncontrollable. When life felt too heavy because of trauma, loneliness, or just feeling invisible, your brain found a loophole. It discovered it could give you the feeling of being loved, respected, and heard without you ever having to leave your room. It's the ultimate shortcut to happiness, but it's a shortcut that leads to a dead end. But there is a massive price you pay for this escape. Every minute you spend being a hero in your head is a minute you aren't fixing the person in the mirror. Aren't you exhausted when you finally come back to normal life? That switch is violent. You are juggling two different lives in one brain, and it's wearing you out. Think of the things you're neglecting. Your school, your work, maybe even your family, all because your mind is always somewhere else. You're trying to act normal, but half of your brain is still stuck in a movie. You aren't living fully because it's like you're just a prisoner of your own mind. And then there's the time you've wasted, that terrifying feeling when you look at the clock and realise 3 hours just vanished while you were staring at a wall? What about those insecurities, that dream body, or that perfect confidence in your head? You're wasting your real life building a perfect person who only exists inside your head. While you're enjoying that fake success, the real you is staying exactly the same. Or maybe that's social isolation. You start choosing your dream friends over real ones who are too much work. Because real people don't follow your script, and that scares you. You have these deep, beautiful conversations in your head, but you never say them out loud. Have you ever actually told someone how you feel? You're starving for someone to understand you, but you've forgotten the most important part. To be heard, you have to let people in. Now, there are real things you can do to take your life back. The first step is to catch your triggers the moment they happen. Your daydreams don't just start out of nowhere. There is always a spark. Maybe you're reading a book and you suddenly feel this desperate need to stop and explain the plot to an imaginary friend. Or maybe you just finished a small task in real life, but you instantly run to your head to celebrate it with people who aren't there. When that happens, you need to freeze and ask yourself, what feeling am I trying to get right now that I'm not getting in reality? If you feel the urge to talk to an imaginary person, don't do it in your head. Pull out your phone, open your notes, and write it down instead, the way how you would talk to others in real life. Here's the secret. It's physically impossible for your brain to focus on writing a real emotion and run a complex fantasy at the same time. By writing it down, you are forcing your mind to stay in the real world. You are building a mental muscle. Every time you choose your phone notes over that internal movie, you are taking your power back. I really hope this video resonates with you. I made it because I am so fed up with these fake positivity gurus giving advice that doesn't actually work, because they don't understand what your reality is really like. Just know that you are not alone in this. I'm here, and I want to hear your story in the comments below. If this video made you feel better, subscribe to my channel to become the next Healthy Mind CEO.